As you can see here, got the M3 rear end. Already managed to get one of the bushings out. That took a little bit of doing, but I didn't have to break out a torch or anything else like that. The thing about it is, I got these lips right here on the edge. What you have to do is take like a chisel and pretty much break them off and then push them inside as much as you can so that they'll slide all the way inside here. You said I put that in there using the tool, and it pretty much got stuck in there, so I had to stick this in the oven for a few minutes, and then heat it up to the plastic so that the plastic got pliable, and then I could beat it out with the sledgehammer. And this is basically the end result after I got it out. So try and go over the work that I put in on this thing. So once I get this one out and the last three, next job is going to be taking out the diff bushings. And so you got one there, and then two guys here. Hopefully that won't be too difficult. So basically, to show you how to get this lip out the way, you can use other tools like a side grinder or something like that. I found this works pretty well. Just get in there. Just break it off. It should come apart like that, and that way you can slide the bushing into the cup. Now this would be facing the front of the car, so on the two bushings that face the front of the car, the lip is on the top, and the one that would be facing toward the back of the car, the lip is on the bottom side of the bushing race. So that's something to keep in mind. When you get ready to do the bottom side, you're gonna have to flip the subframe or tilt it enough that you can do it the opposite way, since this lip is on the bottom side. Just like that, you can break it all the way off. You might have to cut the plastic a little bit, but you get the idea. Alright, once you get that lip knocked off, got the tool I used to get it off. Got this cup. The cup goes on top here. Then this piece goes through the middle, and this guy goes on top. Got an A side and a B side. I believe the gold parts of the cup are the A side. So the mistake I made when I did the first one is I didn't put any type of lubricant in there, so I'm gonna put some white lithium grease in there. Hopefully that'll keep it from getting really stuck in there, and I don't have to do a bunch of crazy stuff to get it out. So once you get your top A side in place, you'll have to put your B side in, which means come in through the bottom here, come up, make sure it's on the inside where the bushing is. Locking plate, and these bolts here are 27 millimeter, so you'll probably need a deep weld 27 for the top, and then a 27 millimeter wrench to do the turning at the bottom. So once you get it set up like this, take a 27 mil and start tightening it down. You want to make sure this little window is here so you can see. That way you know when the bushing is starting to push up and you got everything, so you know that you got everything aligned right and you're not screwing anything up. But that's the basic idea. Further you get in, and more difficult it gets. So usually when you start getting to that point, you want to break out a second wrench that's just as big and use it for leverage. And that way you get a little bit more leverage when it starts getting a little bit more difficult. When you're trying to figure out how much you got left to push through, I usually take one of the other B-side cups, just set it up here. That'll give you an idea of how far through you are and how much you got left to push. Then once you get it far enough in there, come in here with your sledgehammer. You can either stick something in the bottom and pop it the rest of it through, or you can pop it out like that. And this should be the end product. And your end product should look something like that. Alright, so I ran into a little bit of a hiccup. The metal part cup that came in the kit, for whatever reason on the back side here, didn't fit all the way over the bearing. I didn't think that the bushings in the back were a different size, but they seem like they're a little bit bigger. Maybe they just have a little bit more space. So what I ended up doing was going to Home Depot, and I got it's a 3.5, 3-inch, and it fits over perfectly. If you can find something like this in metal, it'd probably be opt for that. But actually, it comes out way easier than using the metal piece, the metal cup here on top, and that helped me figure out how to get past that part. So set it up just like you did on the other side. Just make sure on the bottom side here that you clear that lip out all the way around like you did on the top side. Set that on top, that on there. Press through cup goes on the bottom. And just make sure everything is sitting flush before you start. And once you screwed it all the way through, take it back apart here. Take your sledgehammer. Take your sledgehammer, bang it around. Bob's your uncle. As you can see, I've moved on to the differential bushings. Front two bushings here have a 18 millimeter bolt through them, and then there's one more here in the back that goes through the diff plate, and that one is a 21 millimeter socket There's no room to fit a wrench in there, so you're going to need two 21mm sockets to get in there to get that out. To get the bushing out, I had to do something a little different because there wasn't a whole lot of room to fit the backing plate and the cup back there. So what I ended up having to do was took the B cup, put it on the outside. So what I did is I took the rod, put it through there, took the bolt, caught it on the other side, screwed it in just a little bit, enough till the thread comes out the other side, just on the other side. Take the cup, slide it over. Backing plate. And just back it out like you did all the rest. Make sure the cup is centered. Get it on there snug. Keep bumping into the camera. And no muss, no fuss. Bushing should drop right out. As you can see here on the back side, did pretty much the same thing, just use a different size cup. Popped on out pretty easy. Alright, one of the last pieces I've been waiting for to come in is Condor subframe bushings. I got the subframe bushings and I got the diff mount bushings. And if you look around the market, the bushings for our cars, usually on one spectrum you got your urethane, and on the opposite end would be straight metal, and these would be somewhere in between. It's made of ultra high molecular weight polyethylene. I believe that's how it's pronounced. So it doesn't have as much deflection as urethane, and is not as, I guess, abrasive as just going straight metal. So it's a nice in between here. Let's see if I can crack this open here. As you can see here, one end is pretty much flat and the other end has a bit of a divot in it. And basically you got to take these. I don't think you have to press them in place. You should be able to just do it with like a rubber mallet, put them in place, but then you might need an actual hammer to get the center pin to go back in, from what I've been watching of other people that have used these units. So something to keep in mind. And my other bag, got comes with a sticker. Condor. This is what came with the package. Got this sticker, a little small one, and a little drink cubby deal. So get these thrown on the car, and all right, to get this bad boy in, you'll see there's a recessed side and a flat side. If you look at the two different bushings, the ones that go to the front of the car look like this, and the ones for the back of the car look like this. The one for the front seem to be a little bit bigger, but the inside part is thinner than the one that goes in the back. So make sure you don't get those mixed up. Alright, to get it in, what you do, take it apart. This has to drop through. This is the top part. Set it on there. Get your rubber mallet. This one is a 2-pound. Probably doesn't matter, just, you know, if it weighs less, you're gonna have to use a little bit more force. But just take it, lead it in place. Bottom part. Make sure you got enough room. And then last piece, make sure it goes, you want that lip at the bottom. You might need something to make sure it gets all the way up in there, so don't get you something like a long socket. Make sure everything sitting in there flush. And after you get to the front, you move around to the back. Same deal, but you want to make sure that recess is at the bottom. Alright, got the subframe bushings in. The only issue is I can't put the differential bushings in. I'll go over that here in a second. Guess one thing I didn't go over was guess the main reason for using the whole M3 subframe. One of the reasons to get a whole subframe is sway bar. If you've ever seen the sway bar on 335, it is about the size of a number 2 pencil. And as you can see, this is a whole lot beefier, and it is the same deal with the axles on an M3. They're a lot beefier, and they also have the added benefit of being connected to an LSD. So probably going to end the video off here. Got a few things that I gotta, well, actually just kind of one thing. Has to do with the spring perch here. They're different. If you look at how it's on there, if you've ever done the suspension on a 335, you know that ain't gonna work. So those will have to be switched over from your original car. Alright, so this video is already over 20 minutes long, so figured I'd just end it here until I figure out what my next game plan is. The problem is the M3 differential bushings. The two that go in the front, they fit just fine. They're pretty much the same on the 335 and the M3. The difference is the back bushing. It will not go into the subframe so that you can mount the differential. So I'm sent an email to Condor. It's the weekend, so I probably won't hear back from them until, you know, next week sometime. hopefully they'll have some type of remedy. If not, these will have to go back, and I'll have to find a different diff bushing setup. I think I've already figured out, if this doesn't work out, who I'm gonna go with. Suffice it to say, the company that I'm looking like I'm probably gonna get them from is a company I'm not a fan of. If you've seen my short video, you know who they are. But so y'all hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, comment, interact. If you have any questions, I'll try and answer them. Holla at me. So y'all be safe out there. Keep boosting.